I always liked GTA games, and a bit more than 10 years ago, I've heard of a new game that, quote, GTA with martial arts. And no, not like GTA San Andreas. The game was none other than Sleeping Dogs. Now, although I don't think that this is a good description, there are some similarities. And now after I played it, and if you ask me, it seems like Square Enix tried to create a GTA with the Yakuza game by creating the game the way it is. However, they didn't succeed in doing so, and Sleeping Dogs is a whole different game. So after 10 years, I finally played the game, and here's the list of 10 good and bad things in Sleeping Dogs. Oh, yeah, it contains spoilers. We will start with the 5 good things. Number 1. Story. The game tells the story of Wei Shen, a Chinese officer that lived in San Francisco and been relocated to China. In China, he joins a triad organization named the Sun On Yi on an undercover cop mission. Together with his job as an undercover cop, he also has a personal interest in getting into this organization. And that personal reason is his sister's death. Criminals of this organization influenced her into using drugs and some other stuff that led her to her death. You see, Shen grew up around this part and he still has some old acquaintances and friends. Using this connection and his crazy ability to do horrible things to get what needs to be done, he managed to enter the Sun On Yi. There, he will meet a lot of different characters and he will join into a war against another triad organization. Shen will do many things in order to get revenge. He will experience friendships and betrayals along the way. And he will also learn on who to trust, at least to some extent. I find the story very interesting and also captivating, if I may say so. Also, learning a bit about the Triad Crime Organization had me captivated as well. Number 2. Characters. From Jackie Mine Winston Chu to the upper rank of the Sun On Yi, Broken Nose Jiang and Uncle Po. All of the major characters are built great and have a lot of personality. Jackie Ma is Shen's old friend from childhood. He is the one that helps Shen to join the Sun On Yi. Winston Chu is also Shen's childhood friend, and he is the one that gives Shen jobs to do for the Triad. Uncle Po is the head of the Sun On Yi. He took a liking into Shen at some point. Broken Nose Jiang is one of the leaders in the Sun On Yi, and after Uncle Po got hurt, she recruited Shen to do some jobs. There is also Big Smiley and Thomas Pendrew, which are the two antagonists of the game. Pendrew is Shen's supervisor in the Hong Kong Police Department, which assigned another character named Raymond to look after Shen. Raymond is a good cop that does not support the thing that Pendrew does. And Big Smiley, which is also one of the leaders, and he was the one that eventually led to Wei Mimi's death, Shen's sisters. The leaders in the Sun On Yi, called the Red Poles. Winston, Jiang, and Big Smiley are not the only Red Poles. There are a lot to say about each character, and if you want me to make a more elaborated video about it, let me know in the comments below. Number 3. Combat. Although you can use guns and other melee weapons, the main focus in combat is martial arts. You can use combos of light and strong attacks, as well as run and attack and all of these kind of sorts. So in general, the combat mechanic is not very unique, but it is a lot of fun. But here's where it gets interesting. You have the ability to learn new moves. All you need to do is to return the Jade Zodiac statues to Shen's old martial art teacher. Those statues have been stolen from him before you first meet him in the game. With each statue that you return to him, 12 statues overall, he will teach you a new move. At the first time, you will have the ability to choose between 2 moves. After you will learn one, a new one will be unlocked and you will be able to learn it with the next statue that you will bring back. And that's how it works up until you return all of the 12 statues. These moves that you learned are very useful. Some of them will give you the ability to stun the enemies, and some of them will be just stronger attacks. When it comes to guns, it's pretty basic, but it's a lot of fun as well. I really enjoyed it. Number 4. Car fights. In general, car chases in games are pretty standard, but it doesn't mean that each game does it exactly the same. And it's not really a big thing in this game either, but it's quite unique and fun. The unique part is that you can ram the car in 3 directions, left, right and forward. With this you can destroy other vehicles, whether it's cars, motorcycles and even police cars and buses. There are some missions where it is required, and that's good because it's a lot of fun. And it's actually very useful when it comes to police chases. If the police is after you and you destroy enough of their cars, then they will eventually leave you alone. Other than the ramming part, you also have car chases and shooting, which for me was always something that I was looking for in these types of game. I really like the part where another character is driving and I am the one that need to protect the car. And those are the reasons why I put this on this list. Number 5. Fun to explore. If you're looking at AAA games that were released in the last 5 years, you will find that a lot of them put way too much stuff in them. I'm not mentioning any name, Horizon Forbidden West. In Sleeping Dog there are a lot of things to do, but not too much, which means that it's not a 100-hour game to play, but it still have a decent amount. There are plenty of side missions and stuff to explore, such as police missions and finding collectibles, which you have quite a lot of them. The collectibles are shrines that if you engage with 5 of them, then your health bar will increase, and loot boxes which provide you with money and sometimes guns. You can also buy clothes and cars in shops. When it comes to the police missions, there are camera surveillance, silencing riots, and car chases. There are also friendly missions where you help friends to do various stuff, such as car racing, car chases, intimidations, and much more. So yeah, there is a lot of things to do and it's a lot of fun. Now if you've seen my content already, you probably know that I am making a lot of game reviews. And I really do want to continue and make them. But it will be much easier for me if I can do this full time. And I cannot do this without your help. So if you don't mind, if you like this content, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and let's continue with the list. The 5 bad things. Number 1. Hacking cameras. There are quite a lot of instances where you need to hack a camera, mainly in the side missions where you are busting drug dealers, but also in main ones from time to time. In order to hack a camera, you'll need to find a code of 4 numbers between 0 to 9. You'll have 6 tries to find the code. It's not complicated, to be frank. You will need to choose 4 numbers at the start for the first try. If there are any numbers that are correct, there are 2 possible indicators that will show on the screen. If the color of the number is green, it means that you found the correct number at the correct location. And if the number is circled by color orange/yellow, it means that it is a correct number but not in the right location. You will need to write it elsewhere until you get green. If the number is circled in red, it means that it's an incorrect number. At first it's kind of fine to find out what the correct number, but after a few times it becomes tedious and boring. I think that they could have made an upgrade that will get rid of the need to hack cameras with codes every time, or maybe create different puzzles other than the code. Number 2. Guns. Although shooting guns is quite fun in the game, it's clear that the developers didn't want to deal with it much. So because of that, it's quite difficult to find a good gun in the game. You can mainly find them in some loot boxes and at the location of drug deals, those that have shootouts in them. And of course, in main missions. You can also find a pistol in your apartment, but that's all. There's no gun shop whatsoever, but I get that it's not necessarily a bad thing. What I would suggest to the developers is to put a few different guns in your safe house. That way, you could find the gun that you like easily. It is such a shame because shooting a gun in this game is quite accelerating. What's more, there are some cases where you can get into your house with a gun, but if you put it away, quite quickly, it will disappear. So there are some mechanics that should have been fixed as well. I enjoy the gunfights, but unfortunately it feels like they were meant to be only in specific moments and not throughout the whole game. Number 3. Backstory. Shen grew up in old prosperity with Jackie Ma, Winston Chu and Sam Dog Eyes Lin, which all 3 of them joined the Sun On Yi. When he was 10, Shen, his sister and his mother moved out to San Francisco. They moved out in order to help Shan's sister to overcome her drug addictions. She then died from overdose, which led to their mother's suicide. But before that happened, Shan graduated from police academy. And later, his sister's death led him to go into an undercover cop operation. After that, Shan was sent to Hong Kong in order to go undercover in the Sun On Yi. The backstory is good, however my issue with it is that it doesn't have much weight in the story itself. And the main reason for it, in my opinion, is that we don't get to learn a lot about Shan's backstory from the storytelling of the game. We mostly learn those things by reading the case files. And my problem with that is that this is the main reason as to why Shen got into the Sun On Yi in the first place. There are plenty of times where he says, "my sister," but not much of context of their relations and why she is so important to him. So yeah, I have some issues with it. Number 4. Side missions. There are plenty of side missions, and what's actually good about them is that they are diverse. You can bust drug dealers' operations, arrest suspects, and stop robberies. Busting drug dealers' operations are very repetitive. And there are face activities, also known as favors. By finishing these side quests, you will fill the god meters of face meter, triad meter, and police meter. By completing these meters, you will get an upgrade. Which is a good thing, but that's all there is to it. My main complaint is regarding the favors. The favors are things like helping different characters or dating some foxy ladies. The developers had a great opportunity for world and character building by making these engagements more interesting. Maybe to have some kind of relationship with some characters. And when I say relationships, I don't mean romantically. For example, there is a character named Calvin. You will have a few times where you help him. If the developers wanted to, it could have led to him helping you from time to time in fights, for example. Number 5. There's no second game. This is self-explanatory, and with it you probably understand what I personally think of this game. However, that is not why it's on this list. I don't think that in terms of story, there was any need to make it longer. But there are some things and questions that I would have liked to know about. For example, what happened with the rest of the characters after the end of the game? Or maybe they can add a few features that has been removed from the first game, such as dating simulator, which I'm sure that some people would like, and also the 18K were practically useless for this game. Without them, the game would probably be the same. So I would have liked to have a whole new story about the relationship between them and the Sun On Yi. I don't think that the game is bad, but I do think that there are more interesting stories to tell. And that is why I think that they should have made a second game. And that was the list. In conclusion, there are a lot of things to do and explore, and the story is very interesting. I wish that they had focused on the guns a bit more, and the car fights, woo, that was a lot of fun. The side missions are bland and boring, and hacking cameras became tedious very fast. But with that, the combat was interesting and required some sort of strategy, which is cool. And the characters had a lot of personality, and their relationships with Shan are very interesting. Now, due to the fact that currently the game is about 10 years old, we will judge it in comparison to other games from that year. So I will rate this game as a 9.5 out of 10. Now, if you played this game, please let me know what do you think about it in the comments below. And if you didn't play it, let me know in the comments. Do you want to play it now or not? Now, thank you so much for watching this video up until now. Leave a like, subscribe, share your thoughts, and don't forget, enjoy your games.